We're back for another one. Hey, 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 happy, what is today? Thursday. Happy Thursday. We are back with another one. Listen, it's your girl Desiree Wise, spiritual healing coach, helping you to heal your relationship with self, to heal your relationship with others. All right. And to heal your relationship with life, really. So, how to know and tap into your spiritual inheritance. Okay, this is so important because life be lifing, right? And sometimes we may feel like things aren't going in the way that we desire for them to go. Sometimes we may feel like the blessings and the fortune and the positivity and the abundance that we are meant to have, sometimes we feel like it ain't coming through in the way that it's supposed to and in the timing that we need it to. And so we may feel like we are only inheriting the bullshit, right? We're only inheriting or picking up on or manifesting the drama, the trauma, the lack, etc., etc. Okay, so so this topic kind of came to me as I got to observe my brother finally inheriting the abundance that he was always meant to have, but lost due to um, making certain mistakes, but those mistakes opening up other doors, if you know what I mean, right? You know how when things happen in your life where maybe you don't do something in the way that you were probably supposed to, and certain doors close, and you feel bad about it, and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? And then it starts off not feeling good, it starts off feeling like a loss, but then you start to see how God, the divine, the most high, was really just aligning your steps. And then after some time, boom, you have this aha moment, and it's like, oh my God, this is why all of that was happening in my life. Okay, so that's the energy. We got to talk about that today. Come on, baby lock. Got my crown on today. Do y'all know this crown was gifted to me from somebody in our, I don't want to mess up her name, but somebody in our YouTube community. She had came to she came to our live event, the one that we just did with Brother Yosef. She came and she brought this for me. And of course, I blessed it and put some positive affirmations on it. But I just am so grateful that I was gifted with something so beautiful. And I decided to wear it today because when we think about an inheritance, we are thinking about what is being passed down to us. We are thinking about the assets, the rights, the property, the abundance. We're thinking about all of those things that we naturally in our divine right are meant to receive. We're talking about our royal reception. And you know, this is so divine because when we think about the lion, the Leo, when we think about the fact that we are in Leo season, one of the beautiful things that lions always show us is the pride, the family, right? And by staying in that pride, staying in that connection, they dominate everything around them. The sun just went down. That's so funny, right? They dominate everything around them because they have their pride, because they have their family, because they have that connection, because they have that inheritance. Think about the Lion King, right? Simba. Simba was the next up to be king because his father was the king, right? That's why he was the one. His inheritance, he inherited the land based off of who his mother and his father was. Okay? So this crown, right? Yes, it was gifted to me by one of our lovely community family members, right? But I wear this crown in representation of my mother. Do you understand? Okay? And today's my mother's birthday. My mother is a Leo. She's the ultimate lioness. And so I wear this crown today in appreciation of her and for her birthday. Really, I've been having this crown for over a year and I've never worn it. But I felt led to wear it today for her birthday. I felt led to wear it today for the simple fact that the topic for today is all about the inheritance, how to inherit what is rightfully yours. Okay? Let me say hey to y'all before I keep going. Peace, Peach Butter. Hey, girl. Peace, Minnie Lou Designs. Hey, my good sis. Hey, love. 11th Hour Cat. Hey, 47 Orion. Okay, is that Orion? Orion, are you the Orion from Patreon, right? Because Dream be calling you Orion. And I'm like, is it Orion or is it Orion, right? Because when I read your name, it's Orion for me. Let's get that clear because I be wanting to tell Dream, but I be like, I be wanting you to step in and tell Dream, yeah, bro, it's Orion, not Orion, okay? But if it's Orion, then just tell me, I could be wrong. Peace, Carissa, thank you, sis. Peace, Shaquila, hey, girl. Peace, Justin. Son of Kong, hey. Man, me and my father have a great relationship. I do a lot for my father on many levels, spiritually, physically, whatever. Hey, Olivia, hey, Bree B. Hey, Bo Dragon. Hey, Mia. And hey, Jenny. Hey. Okay, so let's talk about how to know and tap into our inheritance. First of all, our inheritance is the assets, the rights, and the property that is owed to us just for who we are. Just for who we are. And so even when you think about that on the simplest level, right? Don't even worry about your biological mother and father. Think about the fact that you are a divine being having a human experience, right? Think about the fact that you are a sacred being having a human incarnation. That is who you are. You are a soul, right? You are a soul. You are this divine sacred energy. You are a fragment of. I need to start turning off my alarm at 10 o'clock because this still be going off during these live streams. Anyways, you are a fragment of the all. You are a piece of God, right? If God is the whole, you are like if God is a dollar, right? If God is a dollar, you are 25 cents of that dollar. I'm another 25 cents. Somebody else is another 25 cents. Somebody else is another 25 cents to make up that whole. But of course, this energy has infinite fragments of itself. So we can't even quantify what God is, right? The vastness of God, the vastness of the all. But I just really want you to know and understand that you are a part of it, right? You are one with it. That is who you are. That is what you are. So when you even know that you are a piece of God, you understand that there are some inheritances, right? There are some assets, there are some rights, there are some properties that is owed to you for that simple fact. What a gift that is to know and understand just straight off the rip, right? But then also there are some non-physical things that are an inheritance from the divine, right? There are some traditions like, the universal laws. Those are gifts from God. The mind is all, the law of correspondence, the law of gender, the law of vibration, right? Those are values, practices, traditions that we have inherited through our connection to God, right? Okay? So, but on another level, we do have these spiritual inheritance that do come from our biological parents, right? That do come from our DNA. So think about it like this. Y'all know, I know some of y'all that had a praying grandmother, right? But I had a praying grandmother right? Matter of fact, right now in the comments, y'all let me know an inheritance, right? Meaning a quality, a state of being, a mentality that you have inherited from one of your biological family members, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, etc. Right? Some of you naturally have an inclination for spirituality and for being able to connect and tap into God because you had a praying grandmother or because you had a praying mother. Some of you naturally have the ability to hustle, to be a go-getter, right? Right? Like Kevin Gates said, I got 6 jobs. I don't get tired, right? Some of y'all naturally have that ability because that is something you inherited. You're a hustler by nature, right? Some of y'all have healing hands. Some of y'all just have the ability, like Lauren said, the ability to care, the ability to love. You get that from your mama. Matter of fact, I look at my daughter Cara right now. It blows my mind. It literally blows my mind because I am like, oh my God, she is me, just like I am my mother. And it's so crazy because a lot of times we resent or we reject the fact that we've inherited a certain state of being from our parents. Because a lot of times we're focused on the negative aspects, the traumatizing aspects, and we don't look at the power that we've inherited from them, the magic that we've inherited from them, right? So I look at my daughter, and when she's talking to her younger sister, she's like, Kim, clean up now. I'm like, who is this talking, right? And then she gets creative. And she's like, Kim, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to just put the clothes in the drawer, okay? And she's like, Kim, let's go. And I'm just like, this girl is 6 years old and she is caring, disciplining, not laying hands because we ain't doing that, but she's shaping and molding her little sister in the way that I do it. And I'm just like blown away by that, right? So inheritance, that's what we pick up on, right? That's what we do. That's who we are. But a lot of times we're focused on those negative aspects. So let me tell you how this all came about, how this topic came about. So my brother used to work for a company, Centerpoint Energy. Y'all probably know Centerpoint everywhere because they do a lot of delivering the energy to all of the different energy companies, right? And so my brother was working for Centerpoint, and the funny thing is that my dad has been working for Centerpoint for 30 years. The year that I was born, right? 31 years now. But the year that I was born is the year my dad started working for Centerpoint. Well, guess what? Guess what? My brother, following in the inheritance of his father, works for Centerpoint as well. Or he did work for Centerpoint, right? So last year, my brother got fired, right? And it was a hard loss because my brother has 2 children. He has to provide for his children. He had a wife at the time. So he needed to be making his money. And at that time, he was probably making about $50,000, $60,000 a year working for Centerpoint. And when he lost the job, like I said, it was hard because he got kids. And not only was it hard because of that, it was hard because I felt my father was disappointed. My father was disappointed because they got the same last name. So like at the job, everybody knows who his dad is. My dad is a supervisor at Centerpoint, right? He's in the higher ranks. And in my dad's mind, it was like, yeah, you started off in the same place I started off when I started working here. That pride, that Leo pride. You're working in the same department I was working in. If you keep going, son, You can make it all the way up to being a supervisor, making $100,000 a year. You just do your time, you just keep going, right? So my father was invested in that inheritance. My father was invested in that my son is following in my footsteps. My father had pride in that. But my brother lost a job. And you know, when he lost the job, me and Dream were like, man, bro, this is good. Because you was doing all the same exact stuff as your father. Do you want to actually be your father? Or do you want to do your own thing? But in that transition, in my brother losing that steady job, right? Making good money. It was steady. It was consistent. He had flexibility. In him losing that job, he entered a valley, so to speak, right? He entered into a place where he struggled to find consistent, good quality jobs, which I think for a lot of people, you go through that when you lose a job or get fired from a job or let go from a job for whatever reason. You struggle to find something that provided you with the same things or better, right? It takes time. And so it has taken my brother 2 years to find something that would suffice and take care of his life the same way that past job was. And so just recently, and it was funny because Dream and I were always telling him, bro, try to be a teacher. Try to go and teach. You'll make the same amount of money. Your schedule will be set. You get summers off, Christmas break, spring break, da-da-da-da-da. Try to go and do that. Yes, it can be a challenging job, but you just may like it, right? You may figure out and find your flow, find your stride. Y'all know Dream and I were both teachers for years. That is what led us to being able to become entrepreneurs. Y'all, this lock just wanna just it say, nah, I'm doing my own thing. Y'all, it just wants to do its own thing. And I'm like, do I just let it do its own thing, or do it need to get, you know what, I'm gonna let it do its own thing. I'm gonna just let it do its own thing, because clearly it's not trying to cooperate, right? And I guess that's just the way. See, and that's the thing spiritually. Your family may have all of these different things lined up, but maybe you just got to stand out. Maybe you just got to do something different. That does not mean that you are void of your inheritance. And that's what a lesson that my brother just tapped into, or he may not realize this, but I realized this when I observed him. So just recently, he decided, all right, you know what, I'm going to try my hand at this teaching thing, right? And even then, he was going to these school district job fairs. He's applying left and right and was not getting no call back, right? He's been on the ropes in a sense, right? And then out of nowhere, just yesterday, he receives an offer to become a teacher, right? $70,000 a year. Teaching second grade math. What a freaking blessing. And right when he told us that, I was like, damn, he done tapped into his inheritance. I just saw something fly behind my head. He literally just tapped into his spiritual inheritance. Why? Because one, his sister, me, used to be a teacher, and it opened up so many doors. It opened up so much opportunity, right? But not only that, he has an inheritance of not giving up. He has an inheritance of resilience. He has an inheritance of perseverance. He has an inheritance of consistency. He has an inheritance of, I'm going to take care of my kids by any means necessary. Do you understand? So what I want y'all to know is that regardless of what may be happening in your life, there are blessings that are in store for you that come through your inheritance, your biological inheritance, but also come through your spiritual inheritance. And I want you to know and understand that you may not see it in the physical now, but that doesn't mean that it is not there. So even when we think about having a will, right? A lot of times the inheritance is in the will when we're looking at from a physical family perspective, right? When we're looking from the human perspective, the inheritance, the assets, the rights, the property, the real estate, the stocks, the bonds is written in the will. And it's there, but you don't physically have possession over it until other things happen, right? We know that. That's the same thing that is happening for a lot of you spiritually. The inheritance is there, right? But certain things hasn't happened for you to be able to receive it. And so today I want to share with you things that you have to do, certain causes and effects that have to happen in order for your inheritance to be released to you. If that sounds like something y'all want to hear, let me get a money bag. Let me get a money bag in the chat. Let me get a money bag in the comments right now. A money bag or a dollar sign right now. If you are ready to unlock the inheritance, the will that is already yours. Right? The $70,000 a year, that been belonged to my brother. It been his. Right? Me, his sister, I done did that already. I don't know. My soul just got fired up right there. I got fired up right there. Listen, when somebody in your family has already accomplished something, it is already done for you as well. You don't have to fight for something that has already been unlocked within your code, within your DNA. It's like the 4-minute mile. My soul, my energy right now just got, it was like somebody just lit a flame in like my solar plexus, like real bad, real good. My solar plexus just got turned all the way up and on. Think about the 4-minute mile. If you've never heard the story of the 4-minute mile, I don't know who actually accomplished it, but at one point in time, it was thought to believe that running a 4-minute mile was impossible. 4 laps around the track. Oh, that is not possible. How can you run 4 laps around the track in 4 minutes? It was believed to not be a thing until somebody did it. And then once somebody did it, others started to do it quick because it became activated. They started to realize that this is possible, this can happen. I've just seen somebody else do it. So let's think about in your families. Let's think about in your communities. And this is literally a physiological, metaphysical science. Because I've already made $70,000 a year, my brothers undoubtedly can make $70,000 a year. They already seen somebody who in their family do it, right? Because my children are seeing and living in a healthy 2-parent household, they now know that they can do it. Because I've seen my mother make it, survive, take care of her kids, right? Make sure they had everything that they needed and beyond. I already know that I can do it. Do you understand? So, and this is a metaphysical and physiological thing based off of what they call mirror neurons. See, I think we don't exploit these spiritual sciences and these even scientific discoveries. Think about mirror neurons, right? Let me ask y'all this. If I was to yawn right now in this camera, what would happen to one of y'all? If I were to just yawn right here, or if somebody around you was to yawn, what's going to happen to you? we would yawn. Isn't that so awesome? Like the Most High is so divine. When a person yawns in front of us, something is triggered in our physiological being and we automatically yawn without any effort. That is so sacred, right? Like that is so freaking sacred. And we think that that is just like, oh, that's just a human body. No, that is spiritual science. Because guess what? If I see somebody be successful, I can mirror that success. If I see my mother have healthy relationships, if I see my mother have a healthy marriage, I can mirror that. If I see my brother make $150,000 doing minimal work, I can mirror that. If I see, and this happens in relationships, right? This happens in relationships where, and this happens in the sex industry as well. One of the reasons why a lot of people are addicted to pornography is the mirror neurons. You're seeing somebody else engage in pleasure and it is making you feel like you too are having that pleasure. This is why when it comes down to partnerships and healthy relationships, you have to want to see your partner in a state of pleasure. Because when you see your partner in a state of pleasure, it turns you on. That's mirror neurons. Seeing your partner feel good makes you feel good. Okay? So, going back to my brother, it was always his inheritance to be able to make a certain level of money with ease because he've already seen it before. Okay? Even becoming entrepreneurs, right? We really sparked something in my mother and in my stepfather. They've started, so when we first became full-time entrepreneurs, everybody was looking at us crazy. Everybody was like, y'all gonna leave them jobs? I mean, y'all are PE teachers. Y'all teach PE. Y'all have the funnest job in the school. You're a head volleyball coach, right? You got this. You get to do this. Look at how y'all been able to afford y'all's life and take care of yourselves through these jobs. Y'all gonna leave that to take the risk of entrepreneurship? What? But we said yes, and we did it. And I want to say maybe 2 years later, my mother and my stepfather opened up their trucking business. And now they're making hundreds of $1,000s a year doing what they love on their own time. Okay? So that's kind of how, that's a part of how inheritances work. You get to benefit off the work, off the healing, off the transformation, off the manifestation of the people that have come before you. Okay? But not only that, because you are a fragment of the Creator, of the Most High, of the Divine, because you are the physical incarnation of God, you get to inherit the land. Okay? So y'all dropped all y'all money bags. Thank you, Rising Vibes, for that donation. I love it. I appreciate it, right? Y'all drop y'all money bags. So let's talk about what needs to happen. Okay? So there's a Bible verse that said, it's Matthew 5:5. And it says, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Now this is good because a lot of times people think meek means weak. And that's a misinterpretation. Okay? Matter of fact, I should have been on my computer, but I'm not. What meek really means is humility. It means gentleness. It means patience. That's what meek means. And the Bible says, the meek shall inherit the land. You want to know what slows a lot of people down from their inheritance? Number one, big thing, huge thing, the lack of patience. The feeling of it has to happen now, right? You like that damn commercial. What is that commercial? It's my money and I want it now. Not being meek, not being patient. That's one of the number one things. You're rushing the inheritance. That's like crazy people in these movies, right? Y'all be seeing this. They got somebody in the family has a life insurance plan, right? Y'all have seen this before. Somebody in the family has a life insurance plan, and somebody that is in a rush to get that money. Maybe because they're in a bind. Maybe because they're in debt. Maybe because they owe a loan shark. They poison the family member. Because they need that money now. They need that inheritance right now. Okay? And so their lack of patience stop. And you know what's so funny? Is every time we see that in them crazy ass movies, them people end up going to jail. They don't even get the money. If they would have just been patient, if they would have just waited, if they would have just surrendered and trusted the divine, if they would have just trusted that the inheritance is theirs, if they would have still just been in their work, that money would have came before they even knew it. Right? Funny enough, that just happened in real life. Y'all know y'all remember Sweetie Pies? Sweetie Pies, right? Y'all have seen the show like on Lifetime, but then they also had an actual business. Let me know in the comments if y'all know what I'm talking about. Sweetie Pies. Her son ended up killing somebody to try to get some money. Yes. Y'all remember what story? Y'all remember that just happened not too long ago. Her son killing somebody, like a cousin or something, a cousin or a nephew or somebody, because he wanted the money to himself. He wanted that inheritance to himself. No patience. No patience. No understanding. You got to be patient. Yes, Peach Butter. Yeah, the son took out the nephew. Exactly. Crazy as hell. Like, what's wrong with you? But this shit is so deep, though. This is so deep. This goes back to biblical times. Whether you believe in the Bible story or not, whether you believe in those avatars or not, the stories are still real. The stories are still real. Right? Remember, one of them brothers was trying to kill their brother because they were trying to get that bag. They wanted their inheritance. The prodigal son, Cain and Abel. So this narrative goes on, but at the root of it, it's a lack of patience. It's a lack of understanding that you are due your inheritance. It is your birthright. So first and foremost, you have to know and understand and accept the fact that you are a royal and divine being. And you are owed whatever it is. But see, this is the thing. This is the problem. Yes, it is due to you, but you cannot get into a spirit of entitlement. Because when you get into a spirit of entitlement, you've lost your humility. You've lost your humility. And when you lose your humility, you lose your inheritance. Because that means, one, you're not willing to wait and be patient. Two, you're not willing to work and get it done. You're like, I ain't working. I'm just waiting on that inheritance. And, oh my God. Thank you, Spirit. There's so many gifts that come through the work. There is so much spiritual insight that you gain by putting your head down and getting your hands dirty. The inheritance is yours. You already know you're going to get it. That's just the facts. There's no other way around it. Right? You already know that it's yours. That doesn't mean that you stop doing the things that you've been called to do. And many times, family, that's the problem. You just waiting on the lottery. You just waiting on that will to come through. You're waiting on that job opportunity to appear. Instead of every day waking up and doing something that gets you closer and closer and closer to your vision desire. I like what Jenny just said. Most believe that fortune are only in the physical, so they do crazy things for the bag. Exactly. That's what I want y'all to understand. That's why we had to talk about the internal spiritual inheritance, because spiritual inheritance is not just physical. It's not just material. Spiritual inheritance is also traditions. It's cultural practices. It's values. It's gifts. It's talents. It's purpose. And so while you are en route to your physical inheritance, to the higher paying job, to the loving marriage, to the healing and wholeness in your body, to the manifestation. Oh, I love that. He said it's breath. While you are en route to that, you are supposed to be developing your spiritual, right, non-physical inheritance. You're supposed to be developing your gifts. And so I go back to my brother, right? While he was trying to figure out what he was going to do, one of the things that Dream and I told him, we were like, bro, start coaching. Start spending more time in in basketball. He's a basketball player. He played professional basketball. He loves basketball. He loves coaching. He loves kids. And so while he was trying to figure out, okay, how am I really going to sustain my life? Dream and I would always tell him, do what you love. Get better at what it is you are passionate about. Get better at that purpose work, right? Because the more you do that, the more you start to open up to what is rightfully yours. So, developing your spiritual inheritance to awaken your physical inheritance is all about you becoming of service to the Most High. This is your willingness to be in the will of God. So the way that my brother was able to serve was, okay, I'm going to coach these kids. Not getting paid. My brother was coaching kids and was not getting paid for it, right? Like, they were, whenever they had basketball tournaments, they would pay for his travel, they would pay for his food, but they weren't paying for his time. And some may say, bro, you tripping. Why would you give, your weekends to these little boys? Why would you give, 2-3 hours every Tuesday and Thursday at basketball practice and you ain't being paid? That's because you don't understand spiritual inheritance. You have to understand the character development that needs to happen in order for you to be in alignment and ready to receive that which is rightfully yours. It's already rightfully yours, but if you don't have the quality and the character to sustain the inheritance, you can't have the inheritance now. This is why oftentimes it is written in the will, so and so shall receive 50% of the company after they graduated from college. So and so shall receive $150,000 after they, turn 18. You have to go through rites of passage. You have to go through spiritual refinement and spiritual rituals to unlock your inheritance. And I know some of y'all are probably like, well, I'm 33 years old. Where's my inheritance? I'm 50 years old. Where's my inheritance? It ain't about age. It's not about physical age. We're talking about a spiritual timeline that you have to be able to tap into and perceive. Oh, so good. You have to know where you are on the spiritual timeline. I know for me, certain like after I became a mother, more and more things were activated inside of me. In fact, after each child, a greater realization came online for me, which awakened a deeper inheritance. I know for a fact that in the next few years, other things are going to unlock that are out of this world. And I'm in the character development of it. I'm in my rites of passage. And we all are. We all will always continue to be. It just is what it is. My mother, I told you all of this a few months ago. She got a new job. And she had been grinding all her life, working all her life. And she just got a new job paying her close to $90,000 a year. And right now, she been working for that money. Today's her birthday and she at work. She been working for that next level. See, she went from making $20,000 a year, taking care of 3 children, $30,000 a year, then to $40,000 to $50,000, and she finally just took off and went to, a new level in a sense. And she's working for it. She's in a whole new rites of passage right now, because here's the thing. When you get your inheritance, that's not just money. I know I'm talking about money right now, but when you get your inheritance, you got to know how to work that thing. So like my brother just got this new teaching job. It's about to be, he's taught before, but not full time, right? He was used to being a substitute teacher. Now he got to have his own class. And so he's going to have to go through a learning curve, but that learning curve is going to be rewarding. My mother just told me this yesterday. She's working. And I'm like, okay, Ma, you doing all of this working. Is it worth it? Has it been worth it? This new position, this more money, this $20,000, $30,000 increase in your salary. Has it been worth it? She says, I've been working a lot. I'm in before everybody and I leave before everybody. She said, but I can see what it's going to bring, even greater. I said, what you mean by that? She says, every year, she will get 10% commission on how much money the company brings in. So she's like, so right now, she's doing a lot of work simplifying their systems and their processes, making it easier for the money to come in, right? She's a money mover, right? She's, And so she's like, I'm spending all of this time simplifying these systems, because one day when they hit that 10 million, I'm getting $1 million off the top of that, right? So She's inherited a greater salary at this point in time, but she's still working because there's even more that is available to her. Exactly. Spiritual investment. That's what it is. So we have to understand that there is a correlation there. Yes, I'm talking to you about what's happening in the financial realm of my family, but this is also happening in the spiritual realm. As above, so below, as within, so without, right? So you have to have patience in awakening and unlocking the spiritual inheritance. You have to be willing to dedicate the time, the energy, and the focus into it. You can't just say, you know what, I'm about to knock somebody off just to get that inheritance. Right when you start to think like that, you've canceled your inheritance. You don't get it anymore. Do you understand? Right when you decide to steal, kill, to cheat, to get something that was already yours, it's voided out. It's null and void. And that's been the thing. That's been one of the things that has stopped so many from their inheritance. Right when you are jealous, envious, all of that low vibrational energy, you voided out your very own inheritance. It says the meek shall inherit the land. The meek means you're gentle, you're humble, you're patient, and you are willing and able to be in the will and in the alignment of your higher self, of the God self that is you, that dwells in you. Okay? Let's keep going. I'm so happy for y'all though. I'm so happy for y'all. This should be good news to you. This is good news to you. I want this message today to be one that feels like a hug from your big mama. That feels like a hug from your most cherished person. Okay? And I'm not telling you this just to motivate and inspire you. I'm telling you that this is life. I just seen it happen. I literally just seen this happen in my brother's life in the physical. Okay. So a few weeks ago, my brother had a moment, had a low moment, had a moment where he was just like, damn, when is it all going to end? When am I going to get out of the fight of this life and this shit that's been going on? See, when we're going through our rites of passage, it's not pretty all the time. It gets ugly. You got to get down and dirty. You got to look at yourself. You got to look at the ways that you've been irresponsible, impatient, irrational, right? You got to look at all of that. So it gets ugly when your life forces you to reflect on your behavior, your thought processes, right? Your traumas, your triggers, right? Your habits that need to be broken. It gets ugly when you got to look at that stuff, right? So something happened with my brother, and I'm in a car with him, and I play a gospel song for him. I'm going to tell you the song is called My Portion. The song is called My Portion by Jakaya. I don't know. It's something with a J. Jakaya or Jakaya. Something like that. I don't know her last name, but just go type in My Portion and you'll see it. But I played the song for him because I wanted to just pour into him that his inheritance, which is your portion, is what you eat off of, it's what feeds you, is not the challenges and the adversity that shows up in your life. Let me say that again. Your inheritance is not your trauma. Your inheritance is not your brokenness. Your inheritance is not your brokenness. Your inheritance is not the challenges that you faced. Those things are just your rites of passage. Those things are your character development. That is not who you are. That is not what you're meant to have. Yes, Shaquila coming through. Yep, that's her name. That's her name. So I played him the song. It's called My Portion. And in the song it says, I have good news. I have good news. Hey, it's so good. I have good news. And that's what I'm coming to give y'all today. The good news. Right? Lack, that's not your inheritance. That's not your fortune. That's not your portion. Right? Sickness, that is not your inheritance. Right? Abundance is, increase is, wholeness is, love is, healing is. And so you have to nourish yourself with that. So I played that song for my brother, and he was like, received, got it, received. I was like, all right, cool. Now this is what you nourish yourself with as you're going through your rites of passage. So instead of looking, what that means in a practical sense is, instead of saying, damn, why does this keep happening to me? Damn, why am I struggling to pay this bill? Damn, this job is getting on my nerves. Dang, I can't stand what's going on. Damn, my children getting on my nerves, my man getting on my nerves, da 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 da. All the things that you could complain about. See, complaining, it voids out your inheritance. Okay? And what you have to understand is that when you're complaining and you're talking about this rites of passage from a place of negativity, that's what you're feeding. That's what is nourishing you. And what you feed continues to grow. Okay? So, you have to starve anything and everything that is not in alignment with the inheritance that you are ready to welcome into your life. So if you're welcoming in love, you need to starve hate, right? I'm talking about even the smallest instances of hate, right? Hate could be you see somebody pull up in a Mercedes Benz beside you at the grocery store, they blasting their music, and you look at them like, that's hate. You gotta starve that. You cannot feed that. Give that no energy. Don't sit in that spirit. Don't sit in that essence, because that essence is depleting that which you are actually asking for. Okay? You have to feed the promise for greater. So how do you feed the promise? Again, these are the things that you have to do, the actions, literally. These are not theories. I want to be very clear. This is not a theory. This is not a concept. This is a way of life. This has to be action oriented. So how do you feed the promise for greater? How do you feed the vision, which is what I'm expressing to you? One, I say this to y'all all the time. All things are always working out for you. Everything is working out for you. Right? That's feeding the promise. So what that means in a practical sense is when you look at life and you see things happening that don't look like the inheritance that you desire, you shape-shift your perspective. You alchemically shift how you see it so that how you see it actually serves you. This is work, okay? This has to be lifestyle. This is who you are. This is what you do. You never let anything sit in your mind that is not in alignment with the vision you have for yourself. You never ruminate, right? You never simmer in a thought process or in a belief that is not in alignment with your greatest vision. That is a practice. You get out of there. You come up with a safe word, you get out of there. You come up with an action, take some deep breaths. You go put your feet in the grass. You do whatever it is that you need to do to get out of a perception or a perspective that things aren't working. Because it's all working. It always is, and it always will be. You never let anything come out of your mouth that is not in alignment with what you want. Okay? You may have the thought, you never allow yourself to say it. And these qualities, again, are you developing the spiritual inheritance, right? The qualities of God, you developing those things to unlock your physical, manifested, material inheritance. I never heard my mama say she don't got it. I've never heard my mother say she don't got it. I just never have. Even right now as adults, I never heard her say I can't. It's always done been, I'm going to figure it out. It's going to happen. I got it. I don't know how, but I know it's going to happen. She'll never let words come out of her mouth that says she can't have something or that she can't provide for something, ever. And so now that's my perspective. That's my inheritance. That's who I am. Okay? Another thing, you want to judge righteously. That goes back to the same kind of energy. Judge righteously goes back to being very specific about how we label things. What meaning are you giving to your experiences? Okay? And then I'm going to tell y'all something that I know some of y'all may not understand. Y'all, how spiritual is this? I have a blanket on my legs because it's kind of cold in here. And I felt something kind of tickling my legs. And this was stuck to the blanket. A little butterfly. And it's blue. That's that transformation. Change your words. It's blue, talking about the throat chakra, butterfly, transformation. Change your words. Stop telling yourself, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I let it get this bad. I can't da-da-da. None of that is serving your highest good. It's not working out for you, okay? Judge righteously, okay? Make sure that how you are perceiving things are from the perspective of winning, of royalty, of regalness. Now, this last one that I'm about to give y'all, I just think it's so funny, right? So we're in Leo season, Leo the lion. And we know lions symbolize courage. They symbolize dominance. They symbolize royalty, regalness. But another thing about lions that people don't really realize is that lions are lazy. There's literally a such thing called a lazy lion. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that lions have also been coined with the name lazy lion? Did you know that? Spirit was channeling this to me this morning. Me, Kimmy, and Kai, we were watching Miss Rachel on YouTube. You know, the little lady that does all the kids stuff, right? And she's showing them animals, and she shows them a lion. And she says, the lazy lion, the lazy lion. She says, did you know that lions sleep for 20 hours a day? There's 24 hours in a day. And lions are sleeping for 20 of them. They're giving themselves 4 hours to hunt, to protect, and to provide. And I bet you're probably wondering, well, what that got to do with me? In order to unlock your inheritance, you must learn to rest. You must learn to rest. You're thinking that the more work you do, the more effort you put in. And I gotta use different words, right? So earlier I said you have to do your work. That's true. But I want to be specific about your work. Your work is your inspired action. Your work is you moving in spirit. Your work is you living a life of intention and purpose and clarity. Your work is your service to self and to humanity. That's why I said my brother coaching basketball. He's giving back in service. He did not get paid for that. Do we understand? Some of y'all are thinking, I got to be on the computer researching all of this stuff. I got to make sure I'm doing all of this. I got to work 20 hours, 12 hours a day at this job if I want to da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So what I'm talking about is a lot of times the blockage to your inheritance is your restlessness. You don't sleep at night. You're up all night thinking about the bills, thinking about the relationship, thinking about the trauma and the drama, thinking about all this stuff. And that is a blockage to your inheritance. The lazy lion. The lion can rest for 20 hours a day because, one, they trust that all is well. How can they trust? How does a lion trust that all is well? One, he has a pride. She has a pride, meaning they have community. They have community that loves, supports, encourages, uplifts, and provides. They have community. I can rest because I know my community supports me. Your community is your spirit team. Your community is, your loyal group of companions that truly want the best for you. Your community are the people that you are in reciprocal, unconditioned love with. Your community is Dream and D-Ray's Patreon, right? Your community is your spirit guides and your ancestors, right? You can rest in the awareness, and your angels. You can rest in the awareness that you have a team. You have an army behind you, in front of you, all around you. So rest. When lions sleep, they're all scattered around in one territory, right? Nobody's creeping up on them. They don't got to worry. Okay? They also can rest. They also can rest because they know when it's time to dominate, they up, they ready, they going. A lot of times, you cannot rest because you haven't done the work, right? You've been distracted all day on Instagram or watching TV or gossiping or shopping or doing all the things that is not in alignment with the vision. And so now you can't rest because you didn't do what needed to be done for you to rest. Okay? Rest. Rest in the knowing. Resting means that you trust. Okay? So, again, family, because of who you are, you have an inheritance that not only comes from your physical DNA, biological family, you have an inheritance that comes from God. These inheritances are both physical and non-physical. You have the inheritance of a hustler, the inheritance of being spiritually in tune, the inheritance of drive, the inheritance of purpose, the inheritance of resilience and perseverance, the inheritance of creativity and artistry. You have that by nature. Okay? Those are the inner resources. The inheritance of the mind is all the universe is mental. The inheritance of as above, so below. The inheritance of cause and effect. The inheritance of gender. The inheritance of vibration. Use them. That's what you're working at. That's what you are developing. That is what is developing you to unlock the physical inheritance of owning a home. The physical inheritance of having the car of your dreams. The physical inheritance of having the love of your life. The physical inheritance of having that beautiful, sexy body. Okay? But you got to be humble. You have to have humility, be willing to learn, right? You got to have patience. No instant gratification over here. Don't skip the line. Go through the process. Don't spiritually bypass. Allow yourself to be worked on. It's for your good, and it's a beautiful thing, okay? You have to have gentleness. Be gentle with yourself. This is a big thing. A lot of times it's the self-judgment, the self-criticism, the self-deprecation, and the lack of self-care that is blocking your spiritual inheritance. A while ago when my brother was working at that job at Centerpoint Energy, he was not taking care of himself, which led to the domino effect of him ultimately losing that job. He did not have a self-care practice. Up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to this job. Up late. Just was not taking care of himself mentally, spiritually, emotionally. That's the gentleness with self. Nurture yourself, love yourself in order to awaken that abundance that is rightfully yours. And then willingness. Are you willing to change your mind? Are you willing to change your words? Are you willing to change your action to align with what is required of you to inherit the earth? And to inherit the earth means you live from your heart. See, inheriting the earth doesn't mean you got 5 cars, a 5-car garage, a 20,000 square foot house. To inherit the earth means you get to have the things that are in your heart. We know earth, when the words are scrambled around, we got heart. To inherit the earth means you get to live from a heart-centered place. Meaning the experiences you desire to have, the love you desire to have, the home you desire to have, whatever makes your heart feel whole, you get to have that. You get to live in that. Okay? But there's divine timelines that you have to hit. There is mental, spiritual, emotional development that has to take place to open that door for yourself. And then when that door is open, that doesn't mean that you abandon everything that it took for you to get to where you are. Okay? In fact, you go harder. All right? Any questions y'all have? Any questions, let me know. Yeah. I hope that this, really blesses y'all and it inspires you to live in practicality of these practices. And if you feel like it's a challenge to live these principles, go get a consultation with me. Or join us in Patreon, right? Or join us in Patreon. I just feel like my style of teaching and speaking is such a dynamic and like intuitive one, and it's one that you have to feel, right? And if you don't understand, I want to help you understand. I want to help you put into practice these things, because if it's not in practice, it's not going to manifest, right? The inheritances aren't going to come into fruition. These things have to be in practice. This has to become your way of life. All right? Okay? No questions? Awesome. Okay, Patreon family. Oh, let me see what Jenny said. I definitely wanted to read this. I was just saying the same thing to my partner about how I needed to grow with my business to be ready for my abundance, and for him not to focus too much on the growth because the abundance is there. Absolutely. You got to know where you are. That's what I'm saying. You got to know where you are in your timeline. Rise and Vibe. My friend lost so much money on the car show / concert that we put on for the community this last weekend due to a ridiculous shooting. His faith, belief, and patience in the aftermath is so inspiring. Oh man. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you both for sharing those beautiful reflections. Okay? Um, you gotta have it. Those things, that patience, that self-awareness, that humility. See, a lot of times in these spiritual communities, people want to do a ritual. They want to mix up some herbs. They want to light some candles. Those things are good. They help with convincing your mind that you can have the thing. And sometimes they even do bring a manifestation into fruition. But the sustainability, okay? The sustainability of these inheritances comes from character development. And that's what I'm talking to you about today. Humility, patience, gentleness, willingness, controlling your mind, controlling your tongue. This is who you become. And as you become a thing, you now have the power to withhold what it is you desire, because you and it are one. Rituals, boom, you got it right now, but are you gonna still have it, right? Or are you gonna need to do another ritual to manifest another $1,000, right? To manifest that money again, this random money to pay that bill, or are you gonna be the person who has that because that is you? All right. I love you all, and I thank y'all for spending this lovely Thursday morning with me. I will see the Patreon family maybe in the book club on Saturday, if not sooner. And y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.